Welcome to Tiger Wolf. I'm Josh, and this is David.
Please be aware, this podcast contains strong language and spoilers.
On today's episode of Pagedom,
Red Hood, the Outlaw. The conclusion of the Prince of Gotham arc. So, Jason had gotten visited by a former love interest and friend from his time at the All Castle. Gave her an opening to essentially kill him. And she took it. Problem there is the blade she wields. If you kill someone out of malice or anything like that, your soul becomes trapped in the blade, which is exactly what happened to her. She saw the opening he gave her and took it.
instead of like with violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets back to the Iceberg Lounge because he took it over from the Penguin. And, he's putting the sword with her soul trapped in it into a safe. And he's like, look, you'll be safe here. And from behind him, he hears someone say, but you're not. And he turns around and there's the Penguin, escaped from his safe room where he had been locked for the last few weeks.
Okay. I mean, would the Penguin even actually have a way of beating Jason? Realistically?
This is where it gets interesting. He's like, what does the Red Hood have on you to get you to do this? Jason kind of stares at him a little confused.
Oh dear, he does not know what's going on at all.
Jason's like, he doesn't. I'm kind of insulted. He doesn't remember.
Well,
what do you remember? What happened?
Hold on. When you shoot somebody in the face, brain damage can come with that. The Penguin started with some.
What happened? What do you remember? Well, I was introducing my iceberg, the new ice patch, which is the boardwalk for the Iceberg Lounge, and there were explosions, and Red Hood comes walking casually out of the smoke. And then he threatened to shoot me. I said he wouldn't. And next thing I remember, he put a bullet into my monocle. And he goes, and he's like, I work for the Red Hood. Is what Jason decides to go with.
He's like, let's do this bluff thing.
I work for the Red Hood. He's like, oh, well, it'll be good to kill you, and then I'll go kill your boss.
Okay.
The dog that's been with Jason for a while jumps on the Penguin. And Jason just reaches down and takes the gun from Penguin's hand. He has him. He's holding him at point. And he's like, and the Penguin goes to rush him, and Jason just holds his hand out on the Penguin's forehead. He's like, don't make me shoot you. All of a sudden, Jason gets hit by an explosion of psychic bricks. His buddy Bunker, who had been helping him up to this point, is the one who let Penguin out, who found Penguin locked in his safe room. And
okay.
Jason's like, wait, so you're telling me you let this psychopath out? He has destroyed and ruined hundreds of thousands of lives.
So Bunker's had no issues with the way Jason operates up until this.
And you can't tell the difference between me and him? And Bunker's like, I thought I could, but apparently not. So he leaves. Bunker just leaves.
Is it because he had him locked up?
I assume so.
That's generally what happens to people that are bad and do illegal things. Just the police don't in this town.
They do for about 2 hours.
No, that's not fair. They give them 2 weeks of time in Arkham Asylum so that Batman can handle other people before they get released. I mean, escape.
That's fair. So, Jason's like, he ducks as Bunker goes to leave because he decides to take a hole. He decides to make a hole through the wall instead of going out the door like a normal person. Penguin takes that opportunity to dive out the hole, go steal a jet ski from somewhere outside the lounge, and take off. Wingman shows up, who Jason still has no idea what this guy's actual name is. He just knows him as Wingman.
Does he help people pick up dates?
No. He's like, I could, bring the boat around and go after him. He's like, no, it's fine. I got what I wanted. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, well, I mean, it all worked out after I shot him with a blank. And he kind of stares at him. He goes, you mean this entire thing was planned? Yeah.
I thought Jason was supposed to be staying out of Gotham.
The Red Hood is supposed to be staying out of Gotham.
Batman knows who Jason Todd is.
Yes, but that was the whole thing. He showed up at the Iceberg Lounge threatening Jason. Jason's like, go ahead, cuff me. I'd love to share my story with the GCPD. So Batman left him alone after that. So he proceeds to explain that all he wanted to do was take everything the Penguin had built. Because he took everything from Jason when he got Jason's dad thrown in prison. Okay. That sent Jason on the path to becoming who he is.
Batboy.
So.
Red Sparrow. Darkwing Duck. Darkwing Duck.
So he shoots the Penguin with a blank. So, some of the glass shattering is what caused the memory loss. But it didn't kill him. Jason never planned to actively kill the Penguin. But now the Penguin has an international syndicate of criminals after him because they were laundering money through Penguin's lounge. Or through the Iceberg Lounge, Penguin's casino. Well.
Doesn't happen if it's shut down.
Yeah. So now they're after the Penguin. Because according to Jason, Penguin skipped town. He doesn't know where he went with the money.
I thought he shot him on the news or something like that.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. So he shot him on the news, took him, locked him up in a safe room.
No, he shot him on the news, dealt with Underlife. Penguin healed up while Jason was dealing with Underlife. And went back to running the Iceberg Lounge. Jason then shows back up randomly in Gotham to take the Iceberg Lounge. Penguin then runs into a safe room and locks himself in. Jason took the opportunity of acquiring the Iceberg Lounge because no one knew where the Penguin went.
I see.
So, he's like, he looks at Wingman, he goes, go ahead, bring the boat around. And send Susie up. Susie's one of the other criminals that was working for Jason. Because he was like, look, I'm going to give you and your sisters an opportunity to go straight.
This is not straight. Jason Todd's work is also criminal. Batman's work is also criminal.
Yes. So, they come up and he's like, well, he looks at her. She goes, what the hell did you do in here? He's like, oh, nothing. You might want to go get a mop and a broom. And she goes, I think you have me confused with the maids. And he goes, no, you should take pride in your casino.
Hint.
And she goes, wait, what? He's like, I'm signing over the casino to you. Because Jason had gone through and gotten the actual documentation to have the casino.
Even though the Penguin wasn't gone that long and legally probably wouldn't have been able to do that because he wouldn't be considered yet to have been. It would not have been yet considered abandoned.
Yeah. But he's like, casino's yours. And she goes, Are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm sure.
This is the closest thing. This is the closest thing you can be to straight as a criminal. I mean, as a criminal, as a straight person.
He went, but let it start slipping up and I'll be back. She's like, okay. He leaves. He goes down, gets on the boat. Him, the dog, and Wingman are going across the bay back towards Gotham. And Wingman's like, I always love this view. She looks so beautiful from this angle. Talking about the city of Gotham. And Jason's like, no. Doesn't matter how much you give her. She always wants more. Nothing you do is good enough. And Jason looks at the dog, and him and the dog just jump into the water. And Wingman stops the boat, and he turns and he looks, and he kind of smiles. And then he pulls off his jacket and rests it on the railing.
It's Batman.
He has a bat tattoo right here, which is the exact same tattoo in the exact same place of Jason's dad.
So he showed up to help his son without letting his son know who he was.
Mm-hmm. And as Jason, is swimming away, Wingman's like, told you would be a prince. It's what he told Jason right after he was born. You're going to be a prince of this goddamn town.
Does that make Batman the king?
I mean, yeah.
He needs to have better, stricter control over some of his subjects.
Depending on who you ask, Batman's either the king
Hold on.
or a
Does
god.
that make Joker his jester?
Batman is either the king or a god.
Don't groan at me. Or the what? I'm sorry.
He's either a king or a god, depending on who you talk to.
No, the gods among us is everybody but Batman.
32 days and they still don't realize I'm not a god.
No. Yeah, kind of, because they all like, Batman's the scary one. And it's like...
You can literally move mountains.
Like, Barry, you travel time on the reg.
By accident.
Right. You can vibrate through solid things. Yeah, Batman's the scary one.
Soups, you can literally move mountains.
Diana, you are, by definition, a god. Yeah, Batman's the scary one. Have you seen the T-Rex in his cave? It's interesting to consider Batman to collect trophies like that.
Yeah.
Just like in a way it fits and also does not fit his personality.
It just shows he's human.
I don't know. Like, I don't take trophies. I guess I kind of do in the sense. Now that I think about it, when I visit places, I try to get a hat.
A hat or something else.
No, well, I mean, so I collect hats.
Yeah, I know you do. I was talking about like Kakashi or the picture of the Eiffel Tower.
The Kakashi was a
impulse buy.
The English just failed me. Was a significantly distinct thing. Like, I don't generally get statuettes or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't. Not that I'm against them. It's just like if somebody gave me that stuff, great. I'll put it out and everything. But for me to spend money on it, that's a hard thing for me to do.
Yeah. But
I have a hard time buying the hats, man, and they're like $20, $30.
So
that Kakashi was a lot more than that.
Yes.
But I really liked it.
So Jason's leaving Gotham again. And as he's leaving,
why did he just ride the boat? Like, I don't...
He wanted his motorcycle back.
A poor dog is all I'm thinking.
He dropped her off with a friend of his, and he left a note, saying, take care of me.
She had to make the swim, too, is what I'm saying.
She was probably embarrassed for the swim than Jason was. That's not true. Jason's probably a Olympic-level athlete in, physical.
Perfect resurrection.
Yeah. So... He's on his bike. He's leaving Gotham. He's, thinking, hopefully this is the last time I'll ever be leaving this damn place. But
that makes it sound like he wants to come back and die here.
There's a thing following him. And he's like, a thing following me, though. It looks like one of Brainiac's things, but he's way too cosmic to be messing with me.
Oh, no, that's not how Brainiac works. Brainiac does.
And for that matter, last I knew, Brainiac was dead. So my money's on Lex Luthor. And it lands.
I don't think Brainiac ever actually dies.
Jason stops and it lands and hologram pops up. And it's Lex.
Well, yeah.
And Jason's like, nailed it. And he's like, Red Hood, I'd like to offer you a opportunity. And Jason's like, what could you possibly
offer me that I can't take?
Lex. He's like, you were trained by one of the best, Batman, and still it wasn't enough. You came back as a hero, as a villain pretending to be a hero, and now you're a hero pretending to be a villain. What I'm offering you is an opportunity to do what Batman never could and correctly train the next generation. And Jason's like,
I say Lex's motivations he's an interesting one to me. Like I've never actually read the Superman anything, literally anything. But I will say that I like the Lex Luthor from the comic books and that more than the OG Lex Luthor from the Reeves movies.
Yeah.
Because that he was just a rich guy who wanted to be rich and ruin things.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he was when he accidentally created Brainiac and stuff in it. So like the Lex Luthor that has these motivations that don't necessarily pit him against Superman in like what they both consider valuable.
Yeah.
But do sometimes is really interesting to me. Because it's like he wants to help people. And in a way he has in the past viewed Superman as a threat to that.
Yeah.
He also has gotten over his own mental like blocks on because he was that greedy, self-fulfilling rich dude to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gotten over that and realized that, helping people is kind of where it's at. But at the same time, it's always
gotta
hard.
Be something for him.
Well, yeah. But it's always hard to tell what his true motivations are. Like, is he just trying to help people? Or is that just a show? And it seems to bounce back and forth.
Yeah. Sometimes the better question with Lex is, all right, what's his long-term goal? What's the point of, like with approaching
sometimes
Red Hood?
What I'm saying is sometimes the long-term goal is what pits him against Superman when ultimately he is trying to help people.
Yeah. I mean,
because the way he goes about things are still kind of
villainous.
The way he knows how as a corporate slave driving CEO rich motherfucker.
Yeah.
So yes, villainous.
So there are a lot of questions I have with this. Like this is moving into what DC is labeling the year of villainy. It's supposed to be a bunch.
God, have they been listening to our podcast?
The villains,
what was that, season 2 when we just had like 8 episodes about being a villain?
I think so. But like it's basically the villains are just winning after win after win after win is what this is going on right now, or what it's starting to do. Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting that Lex is, because this is kind of a reference to what's going on in the Justice League books, where Rex liquidated all of his assets. He just gave all of his money away to people he deemed would be able to use it better than him. And they also currently have another event going on right now called Event Leviathan. Yes, there's an event with event in the title.
This is Event Leviathan at your door. Please answer. We have Leviathan-sized events happening.
They've released pretty much like a free comic book day, 0 issue, and they've had 2 issues since. And the premise of it is there's an organization called Leviathan that has decimated like all of the super spy organizations across the DC universe.
That's a really cool name for an organization.
Yeah, but they've dismantled all of these like
lot better than Tiger Wolf.
Fancy like Spiral and Amanda Waller's Argus,
Hydra.
Yeah.
The name suggests to me in a weird way
there is a Leviathan in Marvel that is actually an offshoot of Hydra.
Oh, okay.
But
this is DC's Leviathan that's an offshoot of Hydra.
So Batman and some of the others have been trying to figure out who's actually leading Leviathan because they haven't named him. They've shown him. And this is where it gets kind of annoying because I rag on this writer sometimes because I don't like some of the stuff he does. And it's Brian Michael Bendis. He's writing the Event Leviathan story.
Okay.
It has issue 2 brought Jason Todd in. And apparently Batman and everyone else on the flimsiest evidence believe he is the boss of Leviathan.
So, yeah, okay, I already see the problem with his writing there. But is Jason just the hot shit right now that everybody needs to touch? Because he's been in everything that you've covered, DC.
He hasn't been in Deceased yet. He's actually him and Duke are the only 2 members of the Bat family who haven't died.
Yet. Who's Duke?
He's a new kid that Batman...
I forgot how much I didn't actually care.
He wasn't in Dark Knight's Metal, which I actually didn't cover on here, but...
So, my argument's mostly still standing. We haven't seen more of DC's Deceased yet. We've only got 1 issue so far.
2.
That's 3. That's 3. Can't count. Or your brain can't gesticulate numbers very well.
Yeah.
But, okay, so... Literally one thing.
But here's the thing. You want to know what the evidence is? The evidence that the world's greatest detective is basing all of this off of.
Hold on.
The guy's helmet
shoot Barry down like that.
The guy's helmet is red, and he fights real good, and his tech is similar to the Bat family's tech.
I mean, hold on.
Evidence.
Hold on, now.
That the leader
what was the first
of this organization is Red Hood.
What was the first one?
His helmet is red.
Okay, and Jason's Todd helmet is...
Doesn't have a helmet anymore. It's a half mast.
When he had a helmet.
It was red, yes.
Oh, when he had literally any headgear.
My point is...
No, I'm not done here. I feel like Batman's totally absolved of being the world's worst detective right now.
I don't.
Obviously, pictures prove exactly what was going on.
All right, hold on. Mind you, while this is going on, no one has any idea where Tim Drake is. They haven't referenced the fact that Dick Grayson is going around saying he's no longer a superhero and his name is now Rick Grayson.
Hold on. It sounds... I mean, who wants to go by Rick?
Probably I guess someone named Richard.
When you have the option of
Rick
Rich,
or Dick.
No, you have so many options there. Yes. I would probably go with Chard before Dick, but
how is Dick a thing for Richard? I've never understood.
I feel like that's the kind of thing that just started with like somebody writing the R funny and it looked kind of like a D.
Maybe.
Better than what is it? Jack. Jack is short for Jonathan.
True. That's a weird one. Bill for William.
But like, at the same time, like I can still see an origin where that makes sense. Because like, how many fucking Jonathans were there back in the day? There was a shit ton. So you've already used up Jonathan, Thawne. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're on your 5th guy, and it's like, we need to call you something else, Jay.
Yeah. But I mean, like, seriously, Red Hood is my favorite character from DC. Could he potentially be the guy behind Leviathan, and Leviathan started because of the money he was given by Lex Luthor to train the next generation of, whatevers? Sure, I can buy into that.
Oh,
I could buy
I guess the
into
best.
that.
I guess the best training would also have active duty type things.
Yeah.
too.
I can buy into that. But here's the thing I can't buy into. Jason's smart, but he's not tech savvy. He's not making his own tech.
He's not tech savvy. I'm sorry. Do I need to remind you of the Bat Stunner?
That wasn't made by him. Someone else made it for him. That's my point. However, Red Robin is the tech guy for the Robins.
Okay.
In the Bat family, practically. Where's Tim? Nobody knows where Tim is.
Yeah, but
why can't that be Tim?
Because
for that matter, they've basically turned Tim into a time traveling. He's basically DC's Cable.
Because Tim is a good person, despite being equated to Cable.
Adult Tim is not.
Yeah, he is.
No,
he's the one that was mangled by the drones.
No, that's current Tim. Adult Tim is the comeback from the past, wields a gun as his timeline's Batman because Dick does what he always does. He took it over for a little bit, got bored, moved on. Jason picked it up, did a really good job till he lost his leg in a fight.
That doesn't make sense. Hold on. How did he lose his leg in a fight?
Apparently there was a...
He's got like metal
spur.
sinew.
Apparently there was a part of the bone didn't heal properly.
That sounds like garbage.
And then he
shrugged off
Damian.
Wonder Girl, whatever her name is, Supergirl's
grip.
But his bone spur made him lose a leg.
Yeah. And then Damian took over the mantle as Batman and nearly burned Gotham to the ground. So Tim had to come back. He had to take it from Damian.
He didn't have to. I mean, he really could have just let that shit die.
He could have, but he didn't want to because there always has to be a Batman.
Well, whatever happened to old boy from Beyond? What's his name?
Terry McGinnis.
McGinnis?
Yes.
He sounds like the leader of a mob family.
He does, doesn't he?
Who's that? Terry McGinnis. They call him Terror.
But he basically, every time he wants, like, the future Tim comes back to the past to change his timeline, and they have to try to stop him. So, yeah, maybe it's him.
I think it'd be pretty lame. Honestly, I think it'd be pretty lame if it was any of them.
Like, I don't.
Why does it have to be a Batboy?
Because Batman sells, and people related to Batman sell mediocrely. Though I do think it's funny. A couple of weeks ago,
Superboy Prime.
Thing I find kind of comical. A couple of weeks ago, the Incredible Hulk outsold Batman.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. How's Captain America doing, I'm wondering?
His sales have been relatively decent.
I mean, since the movies and that.
Yeah.
I imagine like all of them. I bet this month Spider-Man's hot.
This month, the one that came out last week actually just brought the reintroduction of the Sinister Syndicate.
I would say if they're smart, they're launching, like, using these sales to hook people into new storylines with the characters.
Yeah. Venom came out this week too. It's middle of the arc of Eddie trying to just be Eddie and raise his son, which I'm actually enjoying.
I feel like for a comic book that will be not.
It's gonna probably be really short, but I'm enjoying it.
All right. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I I am okay with the ending of the Prince of Gotham arc with Red Hood. Like, I'm glad they went back and were like, hey, it was a blank.
I don't understand. I thought you were a comic book fan. You're not supposed to like it when anything ends. No matter how it ends.
I like how this ended. I'm also really interested into seeing what Jason's going to do with this opportunity Lex is giving him. Is he going to go back to being a legitimate villain? Or is he going to create more of a middle ground?
So I think that he's going to probably, if he says yes, he's probably going to make a middle ground team, a small team though. Like he's not gonna go big or go home type of thing. But I feel like what they're probably going to do is pull existing younger characters for him to train up.
Probably.
So I don't know. Maybe he'll kidnap Damian and beat some sense into him.
And that is when you find out Damian is actually his son. Well, I suppose that's the end of the episode.
Please like, comment, follow, and share. And also, more importantly, thank you for listening.
Take care.
Bye.